Hey, it's Dan. We got the bonus video for you today. I don't even have the lights on. It's dinner time for me. I've got the Green Star juicer slash nut butter maker. So everything's the same except you take out the bit of junk on there. You take out the blade for the juice and you put the solid blade in. You make ice cream with this or nut butters, and then you lock that in, of course. And this is another benefit of the Green Star juicer. You turn that baby on. Check this out. This is macadamia nuts. Anything works. Look at that. Oh, so nutty. Epic. So good. Macadamia nut butter, baby. Yeah. Ooh. So good. Man, that is so good. So fresh. When you do it yourself, you know? Almonds, sunflower seeds, cashews, pecans, walnuts, whatever you like. I'm gonna go over there and I'm going to watch a movie tonight. You know, I used to watch a lot of movies. I'm down to about one cinema night per month. You know, so it's just on those nights where I need to like chill out, man. I've been grinding on the social media, and the harder you work and the more successful you are, the more hate you get. And although I have made leaps and bounds of progress, I'm still getting slightly triggered. I'm not responding negatively. I'm definitely either neutral or I'm responding with love, or not at all, obviously, which is the smartest thing to do. You're going to get misunderstood in this life. You're going to get misunderstood on social media. I mean, who could possibly know what my whole life story is, you know? Who could possibly know what is real to me, you know, what I really do, what I really am, what I really think, the reason why I really do this, you know? I mean, basically to sum it up, like where I'm from, a man has a job. He works. That was how I was raised. I don't know how all these people on the internet make it without money, you know, but the thing is money is what you use so that you can do what you really want to do, you know? So the money is a means. It's not the end. It's simply a means to something that is so much more meaningful, you know? And that's why I get money, so that I can do what I really want to do, which isn't thought about. It's not valued much. It's really your money buys you the time to truly invest in your spiritual evolution. Now, obviously, as it is on the social media, that has been a lot of development to stay in a state of loving, understanding, and forgiveness. It's not always easy. It gets easier when you go and look at people and, you know, they're complaining about your whole foods diet, your fruits and vegetables, and you go over to their Instagram and it's like donuts, and you're like, okay, it makes sense. You know, they're not even, you know, operating on all 8 cylinders. I mean, I'm sorry, you know, it's like, yeah, there's been a lot of kind of these bigger Instagrammers kind of attacking me and stuff. And you go to their page and I think that they mean well. They're trying to call out the BS, call out the snake oil salesman, you know. Eat macadamia nut butter instead of like margarine, or avoid white sugar and avoid pesticides and eat whole fresh foods. You know, so if you get healthy, the cellulite goes away. If you get healthy, the cancer goes away. If you really get radiantly healthy, toned up, tuned up, and you practice your yoga and you bounce on the rebounder and you go for walks and you go to the gym and you pray and you meditate and you eat whole foods just till you're satisfied, and you're moderate and you're humble, and you just eat to live to the best of your ability instead of living to eat, and you try to find other things that satisfy you as opposed to the general mass of kind of like food being the great pastime, particularly in America. You know, if you discipline yourself and you find a lifestyle that is wholesome and supportive of life, you know, you can get well. You know, it seems like the pharmaceutical, medical, industrial complex, or the sickness industry, to sum it up, it's the sickness and death industry, you know. And it's just a reflection of human consciousness in mass. So I'm the little guy over here going, no, there's a light. There's a light. And I think that the reason why is because they do eat donuts. And they do eat too much animal flesh and animal products. And they don't eat enough of the foods that are filled with light. There's a million terms, you know, conductive elements, biophotonic energy, sunlight energy, you know, activated enzymes, you know, structured water, just the living elements in those foods. And so they don't see the light. And so all their life they've been told that chemotherapy and radiation is the best we have. And so they never studied the Rockefeller medicine. The AMA was on the way out. And the chiropractors and the herbologists were dominating the healthcare because they were getting the results. And the AMA was using leaching and bloodletting and mercury therapy and lead therapy, and they were killing everyone. So the AMA was losing because everyone was like, don't go to those guys, you end up dying. Rockefeller came in, started giving all the grant money to the American Medical Association, then they started promoting pills, surgeries, chemicals, so they could sell chemicals and they could sell medical products. So really, basically, the whole entire medical sickness industry is based on never curing anyone of anything ever. And now it's 18 years later, 1902, Rockefeller, 118 years later, and all of society has not taken the time or had enough light in their minds to really look and see the establishment, how the story played out for profit over people. And here I am, this little tiny guy who looks to nature and tries to think, was it possible 200,000 years ago? Is it going to be possible 200,000 years from now? Obviously, I'm not 200,000 years ago, there was no thing, but the little monkeys were, bopping the little macadamia nuts with a rock. And they were chewing them up and making the nut butter in their mouth, which I love to chew the macadamia nut seeds. But what I wanted to do tonight, I found this really great celery, and I wanted to just dip some celery in nut butter, Otherwise, what I do 200,000 years ago would take the macadamia nut, crack it open, take the little herb that you pick up out of the ground. This is some kind of wild plant. Celery was a wild plant, much smaller, much more bitter. That's fine, Thank God these big, tender, juicy vegetables, right? To hold the microbes and the water and the minerals and the life force. Because it's really only the life force. that you take up as a soul. And it's the fiber that feeds the microorganisms that are really the ones that are fueling your consciousness. And that's the thing. These guys are eating donuts and they're drinking energy drinks and they're eating like USDA hormone meat. They're aggressive, angry, big, bulky bodybuilder guys that are pissed off at the little guy with his little tiny network saying, drink this liquid. It's got a lot of minerals in it and it'll allow you to have conductivity. And then all of your organs and glands will be fed properly with the minerals and the vitamins, and all the molecular metabolites from the microbiome will find their right place magnetically in all your glands, and your pineal gland will work, and you'll just be like, hey, you know, and your pituitary gland will work, and you'll be receiving and emanating, you know, positive thoughts in association with the environment that you find yourself. You just tune your frequency into God if your pineal gland is working. You know, practice meditation every day, of course. You know, and the minerals and the vitamins and the micronutrients and the metabolites from the microorganisms that we don't even know anything about yet, but I guarantee you they're producing, you know, consciousness molecules that are going into your bloodstream, finding their way all through your body, and just keeping you, either you're up. I mean, people are still moving around, but they're eating donuts and drinking energy drinks and coffee and bacon and eggs, and they haven't had one single stitch of anything that's alive with that light. So I can't really blame them, you know? And so it's just recently I've noticed more and more, and I've taken the quantum leap in the last 6 months. I just care a lot less. I'm not quite 100% dialed in, but I'm just about, I would say I'm about 92.5% there. And very soon, as I keep going into this, looking at their pages, going, this guy's, you know, he's not, you know, he's got his world and I've got mine. The difference between him and me is he's attacking me and I'm not even bothering with him. If he wants to eat bacon, eggs, coffee, donuts, and cheese and, you know, everything else, I'm not going to go over to him and say, don't tell that to your people. Why they attack me, I don't know. I think that I'm a threat. And most of these guys, you know, one of these guys has a huge following. And I just told him, I actually left him a comment. I said, dude, you have a great life. You have a great business. You just got married to a beautiful woman. You know, you have a great life. And I just wish the best for you. I don't know if he commented back or not, but this big guy on Instagram, he's smaller than me on YouTube, about half as many subscribers on YouTube, but about, you know, 6 times as many on Instagram. And so he sends over his hordak of mindless minions, this stupid guy Life Regenerator telling people to get healthy instead of taking chemo. And so in our world, before I went on that major tangent, I was going to say that you know, the thing is that people think there's only the option to be sick or dying. And the option of health doesn't even register because all his followers were like underneath. Because I said, you know, health is the cure for all disease. And his followers were like, what if a healthy person gets cancer? And I'm like, okay, so that shows you the disconnect. I'm talking about health. See, people are like, see how that's funny? Like a healthy person getting cancer? So what people think as healthy is that they're not dying of a chronic disease yet, but they're sick inside. And I'm talking about like healthy digestion, no waste matter rotting and putrefying. I'm talking about not being angry. This guy is angry. And all his followers are angry. So he resonates anger. He gets a lot of other angry bodybuilders that are counting calories and lifting weights and thinking that's, you know, they're developing cancer themselves. They're going to. That anger, that aggression, the low vibrational diet, it's coming, you know. And so they think that a healthy person can get cancer. And so one of the comments was, when I mean, what if a healthy person gets cancer? So we just have a difference of opinion as to what health is. I'm not saying when you're healthy you never get sick. You all know I got sick once. I actually got poisoned, okay, to tell you the truth, but because of what was going on politically at the time, I couldn't say anything, and now we're pretty much at the statute of limitations, so I got poisoned, and that's why I ended up in the hospital. Okay, and I didn't have any tools or anything to work with, and I was so confused, and I didn't have anyone to help me, and my immune system was shot. And my immune system was shot because of the stress from Durian Rider, trying to get my business shut down every time he turned around. And then my girlfriend was sleeping with everyone but me. And then I had a stalker that was calling me all day, every day, and just tearing apart my social media and filling my in-mail box, you know. And so at that time, and it was especially the girlfriend thing, that was the hardest part. You know, sleeping with everybody but me. And so I was just a broken man. And then when I got poisoned, my immune system couldn't handle it. So I ended up in the hospital, okay? So I'm not saying like you can't have injuries or something like that, or a runny nose, which is from eating too much. But once you get it really dialed in, you can avoid a lot of stuff. But you have to avoid the stress. You have to keep your immune system up. You can't be dealing with funky ass people. And so what I'm saying is that, you know, healthy people in the world that I live in don't get cancer because your tissues are functioning optimally and the communication networks are functioning optimally and the cells are all communicating, and there is hydration, and there is, you know, detoxification. So there's not a buildup of chemicals or food residues or emotional residues or even mental aggravations or mental toxins, maybe from not getting enough sleep, using too much coffee, bad diet, bad thinking, getting to bed late and not getting enough sleep to detoxify your brain, you know? So there's physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual obstructions in the karma zone, and that's why the fasting is so important, but that's so far beyond where most of us are. But to really, really burn up in the fires of karma, you do the water-only fasting, and you go through this life's karma and other lives too, and you see that when you get into the deeper stages of fasting. And so it's just I think it's just a more advanced level. And basically, I'm just saying, like, I'm not getting pissed off at anyone. I'm not angry at anyone. I'm just grateful to be me because I wouldn't want to be them. I wouldn't want to be angry. And I wouldn't want to be so jaded and so pissed off. I just don't go anywhere on the internet looking for people to put down. And that's there's been quite a bit of that. And it, like I said, I'm about 92.5% there. 6 months ago, I was only at about 60% there. So it's been a debilitating thing in my life to deal with these people because I took a lot of it personally. I've had a lot of time to really dive into myself and ask myself the hard questions, get to know myself, and, you know, find out, like, hey, this is the best I know, and this is me, and this is what God's given me, and this is my consciousness, and this is the best I know how to do, you know? And so when I talk about things like, that's the other thing, I mean, this guy with all these thousands and hundreds of thousands of Instagram followers, he loves vaccines, he loves chemo, he loves the science, the medical science. And for me, I don't believe they have any impetus to cure you at all, and I don't think they have the tools to do it, and I think that they don't even understand disease. And when I say that health is the cure for all disease, I just mean that today is the day right now to eat right, exercise, get to bed on time, quit smoking, get off the coffee, get off the stimulants, get off the drugs, get off the rat wheel of a fake and artificial world, and be in the matrix, but not of the matrix. That will explain to you what I'm doing here on YouTube. I'm in the matrix, but I am not of the matrix. I love the jungle. I love the quiet. I am a very simple man. This is just my job, and I'm doing a pretty good job at it, and it's what works. It's what God has given me, and it is what I'm going to do for now. And if something else comes along, I'll look at that as a sign. So I'm dealing with negativity very well. I'm not taking it personal, and I'm doing my best to be loving and forgiving. Because like I said, I would not want to be them. To be so angry and aggressive, to feel like you have to attack people. And I think they attack me because they don't understand. I don't think they understand what my life's path's been, what my research has been into, vaccines and the whole medical establishment. I've watched all the documentaries, and some of you know what I'm talking about all the cancer cures and everything that's ever been suppressed, all the way back into the thousands of years ago, the religious stuff that just gets taken out, and you're not allowed to see it. So we're not allowed to be free. But with common sense and with an earnest heart, you can find the truth, and it can set you free from the matrix. And you can see the matrix for what it is. You can live in the matrix peacefully, but you stay within those fields of love, forgiveness, and the eternal consciousness. That's the main thing I've been wanting to share here, is just the knowledge of your eternal self. That's the most important thing to remember, is that you're just here temporarily. You're borrowing your body. Care for it, But you are your body is borrowed from the earth. Your thoughts, they're just a conglomeration of stuff you picked up along the way. Half of it might be true, the other half might not be. So it's just, you keep clearing away, and you keep surrendering, and you keep purifying to get down to that childlike innocence. Just like Jesus said, the childlike will enter into the kingdom. And we're not talking about later, we're talking about your innocence now. It gives you're a childlike innocence on the earth now, allows you to giggle and be free and light like a child. Does that make sense? I'll try not to embellish on that too much, but that is something I'd like to embellish on, and I'm sure it'll come on in later videos. Just returning to the primordial innocence. In other words, helping people the best way you know how, but without really even being attached to your own beliefs. Just letting God use you, letting the divine intelligence use you for its own purpose. And the right person will come along that needs to drink celery juice, and you'll say, drink celery juice. Is it the answer to everyone's problem everywhere all over the earth? No, but that person will be magnetized to you. They will see your video, they'll be walking down the street, and you've been told that, celery juice is good for your, it's good for acid reflux because it helps to build the stomach acid. And it's got minerals in it. Most people are just incredibly minerally deficient. So when they start drinking the juices, which is what it is, it kickstarts the body. That's why people are like, screw you with all your stupid juices. Get medical care. But the juices bring life. The medical care kills everything. So it kills the cancer, but it also kills you too. What this does is it strengthens your body. The juices and the raw food strengthens your body, and revitalizes the communication networks between cells. And then the cells can start to communicate, and if you build your gastrointestinal tract, if you build the microbiome through natural, fresh, unpoisoned foods, because the pesticides kill the gut microbiome, and that's why all these people are having so many problems with the vegan diet, or any diet for that matter, because they don't know how to avoid pesticides in the processed, packaged foods that are inorganic, and you really got to just do your best to avoid those pesticides, because they'll rip you to pieces and they will make you dumb. And it makes these guys aggressive because they're eating donuts and they're drinking alcohol, and they're big, they're big guys. They can lift weights, so that's what they have. So that's their health, but they're angry and they're not well and they're aggressive, and that's not a sign of health to me. Health on every level. So that's kind of what's going on right now. I'll do the rebounding video next. As for now, I'm going to take this little pile of epicness and take this celery go like this. Voila. Simple. Plain. Basic foods for a yogi. A yogi gangster for Christ. Just because of where I've been, you know. I'll never not have that gangster in me, you know. I just survived, you know. Did what he had to do to survive, you know. And just the yoga, the meditation, you know, the devotion, the desire for union. And the union is the Christ consciousness. You know? I don't argue with people about religion because it's not the mind. It's not the facts and the data. It's the purity of the heart. Can you give your whole heart to God? You know? And that's what I've been working on. And I'll tell you, if you keep cultivating devotion, you'll see it blossom in you. And that's, you know, because before for me it was all mental. All the mentalizations of spiritualness isms, you know? And all that stuff is great because it kind of makes you an interesting character because you've got all this data you can pull from and entertain everyone on the videos and stuff. But it's this thing right here. And I could sit up here and you might not notice the difference, but I could sit here and just go like this and not say anything. And this thing will go through there. The energy will. It just will. You'll automatically plug into this energy field. And I can only take it so high. As far as like if you're here to be uplifted, I can only take you to the level I'm at. And that's my drive to continue to evolve, you know? Is because if you're here watching these videos and I become a better person, if I become smarter, more experienced, and especially my heart, if my heart becomes pure, then when you watch these videos, you get to go to that frequency. So if I really want to make a difference in the world, which would be the greatest honor in my life, to just do something that uplifts someone, then that would be an honor. That would be all I really want to do with my life. And so I work really hard on the inside to purify. And it took a while for me reading, you know, the yogi books is what it was. So that's why I say I respect and honor that, because they're the ones in those yogi books that were like, develop devotion. And they taught me how to do it step by step. So they wrote these books. This is how you cultivate devotion. And I've been reading those books, Cultivating Devotion. And a lot of people are like, that's the devil, Dan. And that's not, because love is not the devil. And if it's a yogi or a Chinaman or an African American or a Native American, or if it's a shaman in South America, it's this. It's not this. It's not what they know up here. It's what they do with this, you know? And that is what matters, is the purity of the heart. And that's my religion. My religion is love. My religion is to be as pure as you can be. It's forgiving, loving, kind, and understanding to all life that you possibly can. So that was a bonus video, because that kind of came out of nowhere. I was just going to do a real quick snapper. And I really enjoyed spending time with you. So thanks for watching the video and giving it a thumbs up and leaving me a comment and all that stuff. And it's pumping up my algorithms. It's pumping up my Google AdSense. And money's a great thing, because then I'll have more, more abundance to give away, you know. So thank you, everyone, for all your love and support, and I will see you on the next video. I'll take one more bite of this epic deliciousness. Bam. Oh, 30 seconds. 30 minutes.